So, hello, I am having another go at um, attempting to uh, speak, attempting to language the unifying field. I am rather using the word unifying field because it brings the idea of a common ground in um, in everyday parlance. And um, well, I can't say the word unifier, but that does not talk about what I'm referring to. I'm also probably saying this because I just went through a little more videos about the unified field theory. Um, but then I'm also using that idea here because there is already a discussion, there's already a speculation about it, but it brings into context something. Um, it it brings into context something that is um, more relevant to what I'm um, talking about as the ball of life, as life, as the um, fabric of life. So I am, to me, the unifying field is the fabric of life. Um, and um, and one of the objective of my work is to have the experience of this fabric of life in um, in everyday common living, so that we are um, thinking from, operating from, um, um, interacting from, learning from, teaching from this field as the common ground, as the matrix in which all of our different activities, be it cooking, be it learning, be it doing any kind of job, be it aspirations, dreams, um, our past experiences, um, they all have a holding base, a belongingness in this schema of things. And the schema of things is in this matrix, is in this fabric of time and space that I call as life. Um, we, we breathe in it. We, we come into existence from it. We exist in it. Anything that we encounter, anything that we perceive, may or may not be able to see, may not be able to hear, or may not be able to locate where we are hearing from. But sometimes it's perceived but not quite locatable. Um, all of them have subsistence, has validity in this field, in this matrix, in this fabric of time and space. Yeah. Um, um, so this again, I'm speaking about this. My work is in. Sorry, I just did something. So my work is in um, uh, a large. It involves a large part in having us come home to this fabric of life. And this fabric of life, um, at least to and understand, to at least to us to this to scope of palpability of acceptability, we could say is coming home to this ball of life called Earth, because we know for sure in our understanding, in our cognitive, um, um, believable, um, believable realm, or we wouldn't say realm, in a believable sense, um, that life is a very nuanced, interconnected um, part that is there for sure on Earth. Um, now, having um, so my inquiry is my work is in response is in finding the answer, or is a consequence of being in the inquiry and the observations and discoveries up to this point, and answering the question. It began for me as what the heck is life and what the heck is reality, uh, but um, apparently from what are all the evidences that I'm finding from different fields of study, it seems like I've been inquiring into the unified field, not as theory, but I know that it exists as a theory which has been inquired into, but I'm speaking of it as a, as an experience, as uh, all of the above. I've spoken a bit about what's my idea of the unified field. Now, in terms of probability theory, um, one of the things that I am finding is um, what sustains the test of time, what has sustained the test of time, and that which is sustainable, with least amount of clashes, with least amount of reactability, is is a path of non-violence, is a path of peace. Anything anything that is not perceived um, as violent, which is perceived as not disturbing how things exist, how things are right now, but makes things better, has a greater chance of such behaviors, such activities being able to be sustained by other um, particles around us. I've been going through videos on particle physics, so thinking in terms of particles. Now, if we consider instead of I'll speak in terms of that. Okay. So we consider everything around us as particles, as matter, yeah? And matter that we can feel, that we can interact with and know, perceive with our five senses, as one or the other form of a particle. Now you could call a rock as a particle, or you can call an atom as a particle, or you can call a bus as a particle. Now, I mean, I'm calling it as a particle, but it's more like a scale of things. Yeah, scale. It's a scale of measure. My words, but it may not be in proper grammar sense, but I hope you're getting what I mean by it. Yeah. So if we consider objects to be particles, um, of varying sizes, and they are moving about in on a substrate. We can take that as a commonality. Then we have um, air, which is molecules, which are finer particles you can't see, but you know you interact with because you can smell it. And if it's not there, there is no air, then you suffocate. So they are small particles you can't see. Water is more condensed form of particles, where they are in a more liquid state, not so tightly bound, but you can interact with it. Um, you have a cup, or you're sitting on a chair, or you're sitting on things. Those are more condensed form of molecules, of various kinds of molecules, different types, but molecules nevertheless, but tightly bound, so tightly that you can form shapes out of it. You can sit on it, you can drink from it, you can eat from it, um, you can even move with it. We are also molecules. Yeah, different kinds of molecules, different combinations of molecules, but particles, yeah, molecules condensed, and we are moving about. We're basically, yeah, we're matter. Yeah. This may take a little while to sort of, I may already be speaking a lot. Yeah, I may already have said, maybe I can just pause here and see um, how this seems true, or how this may be relatable with, yeah, with what I said, and to see how this may um, be more maybe just a slight shift in how you see things. Yeah. Um, of course, these are all different kinds of things, but if you can see each of these things as various forms of matter, and that they all exist on one canvas, so to speak. It's like you have a painting, you draw things up, you put paint, you put colors onto it, you may give different shapes, you can draw a room, you can draw a city, but they are all there on one surface, on one um, overviewable base. Yeah, they're all held on one plane. You know, plane. They are all held on one uh, bottom line, bottom bottom space. Yeah, you can all sort of um, see the overview of it on this one substrate. Now, what is used for another word for substrate? One bed. Bed, I think. I think bed makes more sense. Now, if we consider that this canvas is not just on one horizontal plane or a vertical plane, but it's more like this bed is everywhere. You can on this bed is everything that is embedded. It's more like, yeah, it's on this bed, um, in this bed. The bed is, it's like the bed is everywhere. It's like air. Okay, and in this space, um, like air, in this substrate and this bed which is like air, different things are there. Different things occupy space in this bed. Yeah, I think air is more palpable. You can sort of feel this bed. But what I'm talking about is something more than bed. For example, the air is air exists in a space, right? Now, if you're going to remove the air out, you're going to have vacuum. Yeah, but vacuum exists in a space. So I'm speaking. I think I'm already going a few things deeper. So let's just stay with air. Um, if you can see air like a bed in which different kinds of matter exists, different kinds of uh, things are enfolded in, and we as moving bodies, and we have chairs and we have other things which are not moving, but they are all, but we as well as all these things are enfolded, sort of hugged by air. Okay, see how, see what, how, just check on, just see how that, if you can look at the world, the room in which you are sitting, when you just step outside the room and just look at things around and see the world, see what you see from this perspective. um, Notice how that feels. Notice, notice if that makes a difference in how you experience um, the room, the, the neighborhood you are in, uh, the space that you occupy, how you, and if it in some way has you see and experience and perceive yourself to be any different. Just check on how that experience would be. But it's something to be sort of um, uh, walked around with. It's like trying on a new dress. Just just see how this perspective, if this perspective makes a difference in how you experience life.